Holy cow, here we are with another week of hogging the mic, and it's surely a happier one than last week. Kenny's not wrapped around his toilet, the toilet's not speaking. He's in his overly bright living room at Jesus, what time is it? 10:40 in the PM. I'm your host, Eddie Jenkins, with the other host, Kenneth J. Pouch for the third, and the three is for three jabs. How you doing, Kenny?
I'm so good because this is the last week that I think, because okay, remember, I'm also a depressed football team fan. This is the last week that I think that the team has a 500 or winning record for quite some time.
How
So I'm
much
just
is
gonna live
how
it
much is the
up.
doctor upping your Prozac after this week?
Let's see. I got one. I got two.
Oh, you're just mixing,
Every week.
mashing Ambien, some hillbilly heroin, Prozac, whatever. Just throw it down the hatch.
I act like those are like cool drugs, and one's for like my hips, and the other's for my stomach. So yeah.
Old IBS Alva over here. Anyway, and your other host, what jersey are you wearing today, Maximum Bacon?
Oh, it's our old friend Jeremiah Trotter. Do you remember him?
Was he ever our friend? I think he was more a friend of the Philadelphia Eagles than he was ever a friend of whatever you want to call the team in Washington.
Hey, I love me some linebackers. I just want to say that I'm
Do you?
surprised that I'm surprised that Kenny doesn't have his pills in one of those like long things with Monday through Sunday on there like an old man should.
Marcy didn't organize them for him this week.
The number one fan. The way I do it after football team games, I just like beer bong my pills because it's just all at once. So I can just get a quick like gloss over and forget about everything.
Well, at least you didn't have to do that this week. At least it was fine-ish.
No, you did,
Um,
but not as much.
you didn't have to after the game. Maybe during the game, but not after the game. It was a game, and it went a lot like I thought it would. And you saw my hesitation before I made my pick last week because I felt like Matt Ryan was going to go off because he had been 5-0 against the team. He's not a bad quarterback, as you've seen. And Jesus, our defense is awful. Their defense is awful. The Washington
Yeah,
defense is awful.
it is bad. And I don't need any pills after that game because right now I'm high on Heine.
That's the one thing. Like it felt like he willed that game to happen for whatever reason. Making some of the plays that he made and putting up the ball, like I felt a little bit at sometimes I was like, oh Jesus, he probably shouldn't have thrown that. But after watching some of the 11 on 11, no, he made some good plays. I think some of them, most of them, even that one that he threw the second touchdown to our boy McLaurin in the end zone was more than a 50-50 ball. It was more of a chance to hit McLaurin because if you look at it, the one secondary guy was over here. The other guy obviously had his back turned. McLaurin had a way to the ball. He trusted Terry, and I think that's as much as you can ask out of a quarterback. I don't think they've had a lot of that kind of trust on this team in a long time toward any receiver.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that McLaurin is just an absolute baller, and he was just like, "F it, Terry's down there somewhere."
Exactly.
He has just as good a chance of coming up with it as anybody. So why
And
the
that's
heck
good.
not?
That's a good weapon to have. That's a good trust to have. And by God, Terry's he's proving himself to be now with the record he set this week. Was it 23 games of 60 plus yards out of his first 23 starts or something like that out of any receiver in NFL history. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby company. He makes a lot out of nothing, and he's had a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of really, really bad quarterbacks. Bad, really.
A lot better than a lot worse than the company that he has in that category that you were just talking about. I'm pretty sure it's like Drew Brees,
Eli Manning.
Russell Wilson, Eli. Yeah, exactly.
So the good. Let's go with the good with this game, which we probably should get out of the way before we have to just like just talk about the.
We'll talk
sadness.
about the defense after. Yeah.
Okay. Good. We'll keep right side up for right now. So Heineken. I'm gonna keep calling him that.
But he's Bud Lightican.
Bud Lighticky.
They sent him
Heineke,
several 6-packs and swag.
He does. So I'm going to talk first about the two plays that concern me, but then I'm going to wrap that around the things that he did that were great. So there are
and we're going to rebut if those two plays are not bad plays. Half Max just disappeared.
So the two things that and every quarterback does bad plays, but you still see a lot of rookie in Heineke. The first one, which was less concerning to me, was the 2-point conversion towards the end of the game, where he had a guy kind of wide open over the middle, not wide open, but NFL wide open, meaning you have more than 3 inches of space. And it wasn't that he put the ball in a place that would not be intercepted. He put that ball in the 6th row in the stands. There's a little bit of pressure. I'd like to see him make that throw. I'd like to see him make at least a catchable throw. It's a 2-point conversion. Like, who cares what happens? And he put that ball through the upright.
You still don't want them intercepting and returning it on a 2-point.
Sure, right. So something that I've seen that's better is he's not throwing balls that are all pick sixes, which he did against the Bills.
Where he's pressing it, he was way behind, way early. He felt like he had to put the game on his shoulders immediately.
Right.
And you didn't see him press like that here. You even when he was down and toward the end of the game by nearly 2 scores, he was poised but he was still a baller. He was still a gunslinger.
Right. The only throw that really did concern me, and this could have ended the game. We were down by the 2 scores. Mm-hmm. It was 1st, 2nd, and goal. Well, I know it wasn't 3rd because we ended up scoring a touchdown on this drive, I think. It's the one where he put the ball. He got so once again, our line sometimes leaves our quarterbacks out to dry a little bit. And it was a play where there was a blitz. No one picked it up. They're coming straight at him. So the smart play, I think we actually kicked a field goal after this, is you take the sack. And what he did was, this is the one he kind of pressed it, and he threw a ball that should have been picked in the end zone. That would have ended the game. But when I say those 2 plays, there were so many plays, especially these long drives, where he's creating the play. The 2 biggest ones were the one where he should have been sacked. He did throw a Hail Mary kind of throw, but he trusts McLaurin, like you just said, so much that it worked out.
But look at his eyes during that play. It wasn't a Hail Mary. His eyes stay downfield the whole time, which is something if you watch the different angles of that play, which is something that made me feel better about that play after I watched it. His eyes were always downfield, and what made it look like a Hail Mary is when he got hit. He threw it in a good spot. He threw it a little bit short so McLaurin could come up. The DB was out of place. The other DB was over there. I think it was better than a 50-50 ball. I think it was better.
I agree with that. Probably 60-40, but it was also 2-on-1, so
and it was also 1st and 10 or so, but
right.
Yeah.
But the other thing was the play, which ended up being the game-winning touchdown. And I know that McKissick did most of the actual work on that play, but that play never happens without a guy like Heine.
Fifth read.
And also, that wasn't the point of that play. The point of that play was to get a few extra yards so our legless kicker could hopefully use his torso and knock something towards the upright.
Heine did not trust that guy. Nobody trusts that guy.
Neither did
That's
McKissick.
That guy.
He said, I have to score on this play. But my point is that play for every other 47 quarterbacks that we've had since 1991, that play ends up a sack, a pick, a very an incomplete pass that's had no chance. And Heine made a play, saw a guy and said, you know what? We can get at least 5 yards out of this. And ended up being 35 because this is what good offenses do. They create things when there's nothing to be created.
And he does that. He makes plays that people don't think you should be able to make. People certainly didn't believe that he could make coming out of ODU undrafted. There's something about him. People want to call it magic. I think he's prepared. I think he understands the game. I think he is a little bit of a gunslinger, but I think he has that kind of confidence that you want in a quarterback. You want in a leader, and I think everybody around him actually believes in him. Like you heard McKissick's quote after the game. I saw him look me in the eyes, and I knew he was going to sling it. And then
Right.
McKissick took it to the damn house. Like, and what an effort! What an effort! Jumping from like the
What an effort.
5-yard line. Jesus.
Well, there's two things with Heine that I'm very, very optimistic about, and it's the two things that we've never seen a quarterback in the last 30 years of our lives have: pocket presence and field awareness. Now field awareness, there's still some rookie mistakes he's going to make.
He's a 28-year-old rookie.
Right. But pocket presence, I'm watching him do stuff where I watch Ben Roethlisberger, what he's been doing for 15 years, where it's like three guys come after Ben Roethlisberger, and Ben's a big guy. He can shed a tackle or two, but he just moves his hips in the right way, and he's like, guy off of him, and he's just like, and here's a 30-yard bomb.
And it's like I said to you a few weeks ago. It's like I said here, and I think Bleacher Report or somebody wrote an SB Nation wrote an article about it. He has that elusiveness in the pocket. Hopefully not the bungliness of him, but he has that elusiveness in the pocket of Tony Romo, like that would just piss you off as a Washington fan, where he would just shrug that shoulder, he would turn it up the backside, and he would move. And then when he played sandlot football, my God,
Yeah.
like he get when it's a busted play or it's an extended play, he's good. He's really good.
The difference between a sack and a potential 30-yard gain is literally 2 steps and the right hip movements. And it takes a lot to learn that, and he has it. He already knows that.
It's moxie. It's that thing that you can't teach. He's got it.
You can be Mahomes or Russell Wilson and just do it, and like even RG3 back in the day, and just do it based on pure skill and just speed and just outrun guys. But it takes a Peyton Manning to know I'm slow-ish. All I have to do is take a step this way, and I bought myself 5 seconds. That's what Heine does.
Oh, I mean, he runs a 4.640 according to his stats, which is not very fast, right? Like, it's not RG3. RG3, like, he would just take off and run, and when he was in a broken shell of a man because of the sandlot that is known as FedEx Field, or was known as FedEx Field, you couldn't catch him. But he also slid like Gumby. Something I do want to see better from Heineke is knowing where that line is and when he's going to slide to get that first. There was like 2 plays, and this is nitpicky because he had a wonderful game, and he slid just right before it, right? And this was like on 3rd down. I think he's also preserving himself. I think he's also listening to Ron. I think he's listening to his coaches to, don't get hurt. Nobody wants to see Kyle Allen play. Nobody wants to see that. Like, if he plays, yeah, I know you do. Of course you do. He started a game. And he had an okay game against Philly, but like, if he gets hurt, it's over.
He just needs to get somewhere between where he's at now and what RG3 used to do.
Yeah.
Well,
don't be Gumby.
Just walk into oncoming traffic and say, "Bring it."
Yeah, exactly.
Don't dive at Haloti Nada like a friggin' idiot.
I'll tell you that we can give praise to him all day because it's been some of the best quarterback play we've seen from a Washington quarterback in a long time. My biggest concern that I saw, besides what Kenny mentioned, there was a couple times where he hesitated a little long, and I think this will come with more game speed. He waited a little too long to make a throw, and he got his receivers hit. Like we're saying, it's kind of being nitpicky, but McLaurin got flipped. He came down. I thought he hurt his shoulder. Luckily, he hopped right back up. There was a flare out to Gibson. He waited about a second too long, and I thought Gibson was going to have a broken rib because he got hit so hard as soon as he caught it. And, it is what it is, but
I think those plays were a bit of that maybe, but also a bit of like where he was in his progressions when he's coming back to people. I think he needs to be aware of when he's throwing those passes, not to leave his people out to dry, because you can get them hurt, like especially passes over the middle, throwing them short or something like that, not leading them like you said, hopefully he figures that out. But like what we're seeing now, is he the guy long term?
I'd
Maybe.
love him to be.
Is he the guy right now? Hell
For
yeah, he's
for
the guy right
sure.
now.
I mean, if Fitzpatrick came back next week, you're not putting Fitzpatrick back in right now.
I sure as hell wouldn't. Like I don't care I don't care if you're paying him 10 million. Like
What was that?
I've seen too many bones pop out of people's bodies at FedEx Field. Don't need to see another one.
God, apparently we saw like a million bones or ligaments or whatever fly out of people's bodies in Atlanta this week.
Yeah, even the last play there. But rest of the offense, I think Heineke's making the offensive line look good. I think the receiver group is not too shabby. I think Samuel's looking good. I think Heineke hit, was it 10 receivers, 9 or 10 receivers for like multiple passes. He's distributing the ball well. Gibson's looking good when he gets the ball. McKissick he's got something. Obviously, he's got something.
I was glad they started getting him involved again. I mean, a few weeks ago, like after week 1, I'm like, where's McKissick? Like, dude's dynamic. Get him the ball, and it happened. And look what's going on. Also, another receiver that made a big play at the end of the game, which we had seen make a big play earlier in the game, was DeAndre Carter. That big like 30-yard catch in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Like just great passes. Like he's hitting those long plays. He's seeing the receivers open a lot of times. There's been a couple that he misses, but again, 28-year-old rookie, and he's a backup. He's a backup that was out of the league, that was sleeping on his sister's couch, that was a backup in the gosh dang XFL. He believed in himself, and look what he's doing.
I do want to say one thing about Curtis Samuel. I know it's his first game back. So
he's hurt again. His groin's hurt again.
We'll see how he is. I don't know if that's just, he played in the game. They're just going to give him a couple of days rest.
It's going to be a lingering. I told you that's going to be a lingering thing the rest of the season. I'll be surprised if he plays 6 total games.
That's, I feel like, a little harsh. I mean, he can play the back end of the schedule. He misses the first half of the schedule. We're only.
I would be surprised if he make. Let's take we'll have a bet on this.
Hold on. Before that, Curtis Samuel had like something like 3 catches for 10 yards for like 3 quarters.
Lots of first downs.
Was that
good first downs too?
Right, and so like we're using him as like kind of a check down receiver, but then he had a fourth quarter like very key 12-yard gain. I think it was a 3rd down, and he had a little pop to it. I'm hoping this is minus if there is a setback this week. I'll change my tone, but I'm hoping he's going to start starting to get going, because if he does, and we have a guy to be on the opposite of McLaurin, like then McLaurin's going to do what he's doing times 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah, definitely. If Curtis Samuel's on the field and he's healthy, you have to keep your eyes on Curtis Samuel, because if you don't, he'll kill you. But if you pay him too much attention, we see what happens with Terry. So
and like I said a week or 2 ago, I went back and watched Heineke's start with the Panthers. He likes Samuel. Like he likes him, and he throws to him. I think he's got a read for him. He's got a history with him. If that guy can get healthy, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm being harsh. But like an Achilles injury or anything else, like those sort of nagging injuries, it's going to be one of those things that just keeps putting a hitch in his giddy up, and I don't think he's going to be able to go.
Well, we have a new trainer coming in to work with him apparently, so.
Hopefully he gets high on that him, if you know what I'm saying.
A lot of news this week.
Well, DEA agents. It's just the latest scandal in DC.
The dark cloud.
It's unbelievable. So I understand. I think a lot of football team fans, we hear this, and 15 years ago we'd be like, okay, the dude had personal problems, he got caught, whatever. 15 years later, you hear this and you're going, there is no possible way. Are we hearing feedback right now? Should I talk through this?
Somebody's going through like an alarm alert there. Just keep going. Talk through it. They'll push through it.
That's just the DEA coming out and arresting more
Yeah,
people.
they're gonna get those pills you've been flailing around.
So 15 years like into this whole Snyder regime, after we get like 5 years, it was just 5 years of whatever, 15 more years pass, and you hear a DEA agent comes to Redskins Park, Team Park, whatever they call it now, and we're getting our main trainer like arrested, and they're going through like there's stuff at the park, stuff at the house. Only our team has this kind of like we can't escape this. We just can't escape it. Why is this still happening? No one knows.
It's a curse, man. It's an actual curse. Like I don't know what's going on.
I feel like there was a lot of question whenever he was hired. Like people from Carolina were like, "Have fun with that." Like I don't know. I feel like he had already had like a bad stigma about him whenever he was brought over, and people were like, why is he even going to be here? But
I mean, Alex Smith apparently didn't trust him, and that tells you something right there. I think Alex Smith is not a dummy. You know what I mean? And at least he wasn't the guy that Trent Williams was very skittish about, because he did spend the majority of his career in Carolina, so he's not necessarily a Dan guy, which you think is good. Definitely a Ron guy, and I still have Ron questions. A few things I'm coming out of this game with, and since we're still on offense, technically, special teams offense. I hate Dustin Hopkins. I hate him. I don't know if people knew this about me. I hate him. I want him off the team. It is Wednesday, 11:02 p.m., and Dustin Hopkins has not been cut.
I'll tell you the most
2 extra points in a row.
I know. I'll tell you the most interesting thing that I saw on Twitter. Whenever people were bashing Hopkins nonstop, which he deserves, people were trying to say that the holds were tilted all to the right, and they were saying that it would be so on brand for Washington to have one of the best punters in the NFL that would also double as one of the worst holders in the NFL. I don't see that as being true, but they did
like
show a couple pictures.
Stupid fans. Is this Ace Ventura, Pet Detective?
It's probably the people that Hopkins has.
Out.
It's the people that Hopkins has dirt on.
So I feel like the special teams, if you remember our version 1.0, hogging the mic.
The Tiddlywinks?
The Tiddlywinks 12. And now we're down to just the horrible Hopkins, because we've got DeAndre Carter returning 100-yard kickoffs, which
101.
Don't
forget that one.
Right. We've got Tressway, who's been consistently one of our best punters for like 5 to 7 straight years.
Pro Bowler.
We're not giving up any big punt or kick returns anymore, but we cannot make consistent field goals and now extra points, and they're coming at key time. This one wasn't key times, but extra points are guaranteed points.
And Ron said, and I quote, "He's our kicker."
Hey, knock on wood, by the way.
They did bring in a guy for the practice squad, and it's so Washington. His name is Blewett. He's from Alexandria, but Jesus.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from Alexandria. What an awful name. What a Washington-centric name.
I mean, how can he blow it any more than Hopkins?
His jersey, and just combine the two.
Oh, God.
Well, now the depth chart says Hopkins blew it.
He's blew a few things. He's awful. He's cost the team more games than he's won them ever. Before this game, you would say that 40 and in, fairly consistent. 40 plus, awful. NFL in 2021, that's not going to win you games. It's not. And now he's shanking sure things in a dome. In a dome, guys. It wasn't Buffalo last week. Oh,
the roof is open.
Like, yeah, roof is open.
Why don't we just go for 2 every time? We might as well.
We did at the very end because of that.
Yeah. I mean, but 50-50, you get half your conversions. It's the same as 2 extra points. Why the heck not?
But just as concerning as Hopkins, is Ron sticking with him. It's like he's waiting for him to cost them a game before he kicks him to the curb. No, 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 no.
Right.
This is a culture that has sucked for years, for many, many reasons. How about some accountability? How about
Right.
when you suck at a damn extra point, you're off the team. You don't
Yeah.
have much to do. You're a kicker. You've literally got one responsibility. GTFO. Get him out of there.
Is it that he's waiting for them to blow it, or he's trying to like give them a long leash so the next kicker that comes in doesn't think he has to?
No, he's been giving a long enough leash. Look at the history of Hopkins.
Well, I agree.
His leash should have come at its end before Riviera was ever hired.
Is he waiting for them to blow it, or is he waiting for him to blow it?
I just blew myself.
After Dynamite.
Yeah, it was very good. Hangman came back. It was sexy. He's wrestling's ass.
Of the podcast, we can't do that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We like to cross the streams. It's like Ghostbusters. Subscribe to Bluebird Cage. It's wonderful. Kenny was on it once. But anyway, seriously, for everyone that wants Hopkins to be executed in the gallows, firing squad, or lethal injection, etc., at midfield, raise your right hand and say aye.
Like and subscribe.
You can't see my hand.
Aye. Okay. Disappearing hand. You're freaking Casper over there.
It's
All
FedEx
right.
Field for you.
So just quickly, no sentences. What do you give Heineke? Grade, Kenny.
A-.
Max.
A-.
I give him A- too. I think he was really, really good. Some scary plays. Can't wait till this week. Big test. Well, medium test. Let's say receiver corpse. What do you give him, Kenny?
I'm gonna go with. I mean, McLaurin is like an A++, and then everything else. Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Median.
A.
Max.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another A-. We didn't see the mistakes we saw last week, so I'm happy.
A-. I think the median rounds out. Plus, the ball got moved around. Not too bad. Not too shabby. And some of that comes back to Heineke. How about running backs, Kenny?
We didn't really talk about Gibson because I think Gibson did an adequate job this game. I'm going to go with a B.
Yeah. Max?
B's fair. I would say, yeah, you got an adequate C with Gibson and an A with McKissick.
Yeah, I think.
And Patterson got a touch.
Yeah, I think for what they were given, not too shabby.
I like to change my grade.
What?
McKissick, who I always forget because he's more a receiving guy. I'm going to B+ because of that one play.
You want to say he's more of a receiving guy, but Gibson was a receiver that converted into a running back. So, all right, and we're gonna have to talk about some scary stuff on IR. It looks like for a while. Old Logie Tommy's gonna be on IR. Scary hamstring. Again, kind of like a growing injury. We'll see if he comes back. I'll be surprised if he comes back. I don't know if he's going to be himself. Next man up. We'll see. Now let's get to the dark part. Let's get to the sadness. Let's get to the sad cast. Let's get to our roots. That defense. What the F is up?
Yeah.
Kenny, you're upside down.
While Kenny's setting up.
Our defense makes me do this.
Are we in Stranger Things?
I'm going to come down for this one.
You're making the audience sick, Kenny. Your face does that enough.
Our audience should feel how I feel when I watch our defense.
Yeah, they're called a defense because they're playing at about a D level, if
they're
not
playing
an
at
F.
a worse than a D level. They are awful. Linebackers, awful. Secondary, awful. Chase Young, I'm already. I'm not at a cut him. I'm not at kick him off the island. I'm at worried though. I'm extremely worried.
he got chipped on 30. They said somewhere between 30 and 40% of the plays, though. That means they're committing an extra body to slowing him down.
Yeah,
So
nobody else is getting there, and he's only
in
got
all
one move.
in all fairness,
He
but
needs to
yeah,
learn more than one move.
defensive lineman Jonathan Allen is playing way better than anybody else. Montez Sweat a little bit behind him, and yeah, Chase Young and Deron Payne were kind of missing.
Yeah, like this vaunted all this looks like a weird Jewish Mr. Clean.
He looks
or
like
a
an upset,
genie.
or the Giants, the Big
This is
Show.
the best and least flattering angle I could choose for
Well,
his
it's a
defense.
Kenny show. Jesus. I wish he had the hair that he originally had. It
I
was,
do, but just not my head.
he was like, I would take any hair.
So I have one suggestion that might make Kenny flip upside down again.
Or right side up.
And Collins, we're going into like another world.
Move Landon Collins to linebacker.
Nope, he's too small. He's gonna get messed up.
Murder row.
Well, I really wanted Washington to sign either Jamie Collins or Jalen Smith, and then today Stephon Gilmore hit the market, and I really wanted him. It doesn't look like we're going to get any of them, but if we could manage to find one more corner, move Collins to linebacker.
After that tackling no show that he put on.
But he's gonna. This is for coverage purposes. You don't move him there.
He's
on
awful
first.
in coverage.
Do I have to go back to my bathroom? I'll do it.
I mean, you either gotta play the guy in a position he has a chance.
I think you gotta cut him,
or you just cut him.
I think you cut him. I think you pull the Band-Aid off. I think you do what Dallas did this week. I think you do what the Patriots did this week. I think you do what good teams do that have accountability. I think you send his ass to the curb. I think you send Dustin Hopkins' ass to the curb. I think you kick him off the island. Last week I wanted Landon Collins off the island. I gave Dustin Hopkins a reprieve because he caught his own kickoff. So that brings me to this. We talked about how awful the defense is, and just midway through, who are you kicking off the island this week? For me, it's Dustin Hopkins. I don't just want him off the island. I want a brick tied around. I want a cinder block tied around coconuts, tied around his ankle, and I want him shoved off the boat. I want him floating to the bottom of the ocean, the deepest part, and I don't want him breathing another breath. He doesn't deserve to live. He's awful. How about you, Kenny? Who are you kicking off?
I'm just gonna do what I'm not supposed to do. All 11 defenders.
No, we're doing this. We're doing this each week. We need one player.
Oh man, did Landon Collins get kicked off my boat last time?
Not your boat. He got kicked off mine.
Landon Collins.
Fair enough, Max.
Ryan Vermillion.
No, we're talking players, sweetheart.
He was kicked off the boat.
Yeah, he's going to jail.
Probably Landon Collins.
I think this is the first trifecta. He should be cut. We need to write a letter to Ron.
Maybe we can do a double elimination.
I'm upside down. Can I rant?
Go for it.
I'm not hanging from my ceiling for no reason.
You look like a COVID bat.
I am the original. I'm patient zero. I am bat zero. So listen, we didn't just play 3 weeks of mediocre to awful defense only to play a struggling entire offense and look the exact same. Do you know the difference between me last week and this week? I look different. I came from the bathroom and now I'm an upside down COVID bat. Maybe our defense should try something like that because every single week I'm watching us on 3rd and 15. It's an automatic first. 3rd and 8. It's an automatic first. Every time it's 3rd down, it's an automatic first. We're never going to beat another team if we play half as bad as we're playing right now, especially with our schedule. We have amazing quarterback.
There's no adjustments, and if you look at the secondary, there's no adjustments there. There's no shifting. There's no talk. There's no chatter. There's nothing in that secondary. That secondary looks pedestrian. Like they're not getting a pass rush, and the secondary looks bad. So I think it's on both of them. And then you look at the middle of the field.
It's everything.
The linebackers are awful. And Jamin Davis, I'm worried. I'm already worried.
I'm not ready to throw him into an individual spot.
I'm just saying I'm not throwing him off. I'm not throwing him off the island. But he's falling over into the Chase Young, I'm officially worried category. I'm concerned. I'm a concerned mother.
So my problem is, one of the other things I've noticed, this COVID bat has noticed that there's no excitement. We actually stopped them on first and second, and they with mopey eyes walk back in the huddle and all right, guys, it's 3rd and 18. You know what that means? And they'll pull down their pants. They take poops. They take defensive poops. And then the offense just scores touchdowns. And then Heine's all right, I guess I'll just do something incredible to put us back in this game. And the defense thank you, Heine. More defensive poops.
Well, I think our team's decided that we finally have an offense now. So they're just going to try to let the other team score as quick as they can so we can get the ball back.
It's because this team can never find balance, and it's always been like that. It's back with the Greg Williams defenses, really good defense, very mediocre Jason Campbell offenses, and it's been like that for forever. They've never found balance. They can't find a way to put it all together for whatever reason, and I'm worried about it. I'm worried about coaching already. I'm throw Ron in the word category. I'm worried about some of his decisions. I'm worried about some of his lack of decisions. I really am. Jack Del Rio, I'm more than worried about him. He's in code red orange, so he's about to red. Another performance like this, if he lets Jameis Winston go off on them like he went off on the Packers in Week 1, this podcast next week is going to be disastrous. It's going to be.
I'll tell you,
because this game's winnable. This game's winnable, but it can be disastrous.
There's a big thing with coaching, defensive coaches. You can see a big difference. You can see a big difference when you have a good defensive coach. Because, for instance, take Dallas, who in the league last year had one of the worst defenses. They have almost the exact same players this year. New defensive coordinator, they're playing on a whole different level. This is year 2 of Jack Del Rio, and you're seeing them get worse. So I'm definitely in code red.
And like I said last week, this is year 2 of Jack Del Rio with an off season, with actual implementation of his defense, with forethought, with supposedly better players. But we're getting a remarkably worse product. But anyway, Kenny rants aside. Kenny, give just a whole grade. We're not going to go group by group because they were very awful. What do you give the defense?
The defense gets an F-.
I can't disagree there. How about you, Maximus?
Yeah, I mean, you play one of the worst teams in the league and you give up 30 points, at least an F.
Brought up their average a lot. They're F-. They were awful. Something that's interesting that came out of the game, though, it sounds like, at least a report, that Matt Ryan does want out of Atlanta. He wants a Matty Stafford type deal. If God forbid, anything goes sideways with Heineke, I wouldn't be mad about it.
No, absolutely.
Not that those things have. Be that as it may, he can be a bridge quarterback. It's better than reaching in the first or the second at somebody in a not so rich quarterback draft. I would take him.
We have a million needs.
Exactly.
We're not New York City. We have so many bridges right now with all these quarterbacks. No more. I want a guy that's young and sexy and good and sexy.
It sounds like a Washington fan. Always wanting what they can't have.
Sexy's your main qualification.
Jesus, it's not. I'll take Matty Light over Fitzpatrick. I'll take him over most options. It might be him just saying the Heineke thing goes sideways. I don't want that to happen, and I actually believe in him. It's going to be between him and Andy Dalton. It's not going to be great, bud. It's not going to be great, bud. You don't want the red rifle.
Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
I would sell the house for Aaron. I gotta. It's Baby's arm holding an apple down there for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my
God. Brandon Cox style. But
Jeez.
anyway, game coming up. We can't build in just because this team beat them and because Washington beat them, therefore they should beat them. That doesn't make sense, right? But the Giants did beat them. They did beat the Saints. Saints have showed some sparks of goodness, but they've also not looked great. Minus that first game where I think there was an Aaron Rodgers hangover or something going on with Green Bay. I feel like this is a winnable game. I think this is one of the few winnable games, legitimately winnable games, even though KC is had a couple gut shots here lately that are on the schedule coming up. How are you guys feeling about it?
I don't find anything with the Saints offense besides Alvin Kamara that scary. Without Breeze, I don't think Winston. He's one of those quarterbacks that can throw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in the same game. But they kind of were going to Taysom Hill a lot in the Giants game, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
They do that inside the 20. They paid him a lot of money, so
yeah,
I feel like they got to get their money out of him or something.
So our main weakness is going up against probably what their main weakness is, and our strength is going up against their strength. So it should be a good game. Vegas has got it at a 2.5 point spread right now. So
the even.
Saints, yeah, well, the Saints are favored.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's just because the public opinion on the Saints is higher than Washington.
I feel that. I saw the power rankings on NFL.com. They had some teams above Washington that I was just depressing. Like teams that had less wins.
Don't read the power rankings.
Power rankings tell you something sometimes.
They tell you nothing. They tell you a guy's opinion that's not us, that's sitting doing his own upside down podcast.
Educated opinions, unlike Kenny, who sits in the bathroom doing God knows what, around a toilet that's had God knows what happened to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm not going to the game. I had enough at the last one. It's gonna rain. I don't like rain anymore. I've got YouTube TV now. It's wonderful. I don't have to worry. It's just on there. I don't have to find a list of streams.
Sunday ticket, or you're like, is it just because it's on your local? Okay.
Yeah, I get local stations. I was, because I didn't have an antenna or anything, I was just stuck to illicit streams. So unless something weird happens with, if Washington and Baltimore play at the same time on CBS or something, then I'm screwed. Otherwise, should be smooth sailing. I already checked the game. It's going to be on TV. Looks pretty nice. YouTube TV's got a good stream going on, and it's because sometimes with the weird ones, I was a little bit behind you guys. Now I'm right in time. Should be good. I know Kenny's going to be there live with old COVID Ronnie.
We just lost a viewer now.
Sorry, COVID. I mean Ronnie.
Kenny's doing a handstand now.
Yeah.
Audio only people.
I say that only because I want Ronnie to get. I want him to be okay.
So I have actually a really. This is probably one of the best points I'm going to make all season. When I do this, it looks like Max and I are some kind of hybrid scientific experiment animal, 2-headed mutation thing.
3 Mindhound?
What's that?
3 Mindhound? Human centipede?
Sure. But still, whatever it is better than whoever plays on our defense. So this game coming up is, hold on.
Thank goodness I was worried about all that blood rushing to your head.
It'd be the first time. Never mind.
This is a PG podcast. You can't say that.
I can say things.
PG for the hoggies out there. The young hoggies.
No.
Yeah. To all my hoggies, this game coming up is a winnable game. I think these Saints are this season they're an inconsistent good team. I don't know what team's going to show up on Sunday. That being said, our defense is an inconsistent bad defense. I don't think
that's not true. They are consistently bad.
that's
They're
what I meant.
consistently bad.
They're
They've not even been good.
consistently bad
Like people are saying, "Oh,
defense.
this team is so inconsistent." No, they're consistently bad. They've been bad. 4
Right.
games bad.
It's an inconsistent good team versus a consistently bad defense. This is going to come down to how the Saints are playing this specific week and how our offense, if we can keep rolling at a high level this week. I will not give you a prediction until it's prediction time.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Max,
Well,
you know what I got to know? You know what I need to know? Right here, right now? I need to know the sizzling keys, the victory.
Kenny turned the oven on early. He was pre-sizzling there.
Yeah, man, he's one of those like those freaks that likes to bake his bacon because he doesn't like to use the grease for gravy because he's not Southern. So
First of all, that's a very Tennessee thing. Over
you
here,
don't like biscuits and gravy.
my stomach can't handle that. Plus, I'm all about turkey bacon now because it
Disgusting.
tastes like bacon 5%, and it's a little healthier.
You're an awful person. I thought the way you put toilet paper on the roll was awful. Now you're dead to me, Kenny.
And he uses
unlike promoting Apple TV on here, I don't promote turkey bacon. We're not sponsored by turkey bacon. Just Apple TV or YouTube TV. Sorry, whatever.
Yeah, you can't get like Kenny doesn't even know what his streaming services are.
Yeah, he uses lactate in his gravy too. So
actually, the only streaming service I use is when I go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Kenny, good God, he doesn't even know how to make gravy. Like that. That's how much of a Yankee he is.
Once again, the only gravy I know how to make is when I go to the bathroom.
Have you ever had biscuits and gravy?
Yeah, I have. I've actually had like legit homemade, and they're really good. And
Yeah.
then I spend 200% of the time in the bathroom afterwards. So no more biscuits and gravy.
It's because that grease cleans you out.
I would want to live if I can have biscuits and gravy.
Agreed.
Have it. I just have to pay dearly for it after.
It's worth whatever price.
So back to
the sizzling keys. I'm sorry. I get biscuits and gravy are important to us, other man.
That's a fact. It's just opposite time of the day for that.
Never wrong.
Sizzling key. That's true. Sizzling keys to victory. Basically, we got to stop Kamara. I think he's the obvious most dynamic player on their entire team. So we got to key on him. That is true. He's the Tennessee Vol. And
one got us last week.
That's right. We're going to do it again this week. And I mean, as far as what we got to do against the Saints, I'm not really too worried. They're going to put pressure on Heine, but like we were saying earlier, he's got the hips. He's got it figured out. So he just let Heine be Heine, McLaurin be McLaurin. My main concern is who's going to step up in Logan Thomas's role.
We'll see. We had him make a big boy play there to help seal the game against the Giants. That pass in the corner of the end zone, that's a big boy throw, is a big boy catch.
RSJ.
Can he do it again? Can he do it again?
He dropped a big pass against Atlanta.
He did. Like there was a couple drops in that game. There's also a couple like not perfectly placed balls.
Do you think we'll get to see Reyes in action?
I think so. I think you got to. If they're smart, they've got to make some sort of change.
Well,
he likes Jay Sternberger.
Sternberger today. He'll be our backup. It's going to go Seals, Jones, Sternberger going into this next game.
All right. Well, we're past the sizzling keys. We're past the fact that we're not past it. I'm not going to be over the fact that Kenny doesn't eat biscuits and gravy. What a awful person. He puts his toilet paper on the roll incorrectly. He doesn't eat biscuits and gravy. That's 2 strikes.
That's what's wrong with his hips. He should have ate more biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, clear you out, keep you straighter.
Biscuits and gravy.
You're too crooked to be straight anymore. So what I got to know right now, Kenny, give me your prediction, buddy.
Where that hat comes from, we'll never know.
I got a guy off.
You don't want to know where it comes from. It's like Sean Connery in Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL. You know where that Sharpie came from.
All right. Last week, the Washington football team went neck and neck with a team that's probably in the bottom 5 of the NFL, pulling out a victory in the final minutes. This week, they return home to play a team that is usually good. We're not sure how they are right now. Has a pretty dynamic offense, a pretty bad defense. In saying that, my prediction... The Washington football team loses this game.
I hate him.
Let me predict.
I hate him.
34-31. There will be a missed field goal that's not in the last seconds, but in this game that was short enough to make, and we think back about it and our terrible defense, nothing changes. Losing this one.
If that happens, Kenny, you better wrap yourself like a spider monkey around Hopkins and wait until I get there. I'll be the one that murders him. I'll take him out. You just hold him. You're an accessory. You'll do a little bit of time, but not as much as me.
It's more about our defense.
I think it's justified, though.
This is what happens whenever you give a booster shot to a COVID vet.
Yeah. It turns you into a blithering idiot. Jesus Christ. Max, please give me some sanity here.
Yeah.
Tell me the sizzling keys are going to be met.
Kenny's wrong. Kenny's wrong. We're gonna win. The defense is not what gives me the hope. It's our offense. I think we're going to do just enough. We're going to win this game, and it's going to be something weird, like 23 to 20 or 23 to 22. Let's go 23-22.
I'm going 27-30 Washington. Suck it, Kenny.
Well, what's the standings at right now? Who's up?
So
I think we're tied.
No, you're down 1. So
I think it's a tie.
Me and Kenny are perfect so far at 2-0, and you're 1-1.
Yeah, but I've got more fan points because I believe. It's like Peter Pan and believing, and then like the fairies get to fly.
Yeah, but we never get to fly. We don't know how to fly. We know how to have.
You'll fly when I throw you from the 400 section.
Sorry, we're 3-0. You're 2-1. My bad.
I'm 3-0 in my heart. All right, final, and I believe you can do it. If not, we're just gonna cut away to you. Max is gonna mute you. He's gonna be muting Max. Kenny, single non-run-on sentence. Give us your final thought in one sentence.
He's flapping his wings.
Fair enough.
Coming onto the screen.
I take that as a sentence. Max, your final thoughts on this week's game. One sentence.
No more thoughts. Just follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Hogging the Mic.
That was more than one sentence, but I'll allow it. That was shameless promotion of the podcast. Look at this. We've been fairly consistent. We keep doing podcasts. We're here. We haven't cried yet. The tears will come soon. But we're at the end of the episode. I'm your host, Eddie Jenkins. For your other host, the COVID bat. For your other host, the most maximum of bacon. And saying, remember, anytime we step out boldly to make changes, we take a chance that we might fail. But the only way to be better is to try. See ya.